He was charming, he was handsome, he was a monster. Ted Bundy, a name whispered with fear and disgust, a face forever etched in the annals of criminal history. Bundy's crimes shocked the nation. His victims, young women who resembled a lost love, were brutally attacked and murdered. How could someone so seemingly normal commit such horrific acts? The answer, as we delve into the dark world of Ted Bundy, lies in the twisted corridors of his mind. A place where charisma masked a depraved soul, and where a charming demeanor concealed a heart of pure evil. This is the story of Ted Bundy, one of America's most notorious serial killers. Even in his youth, there were glimpses of darkness in Ted Bundy. His eyes often seemed to hold a secret, a hidden depth that few could understand. A quiet loner, he preferred his own company. He was often seen sitting alone, lost in his thoughts, detached from the world around him. Some noticed a disturbing fascination with violence, a morbid curiosity that hinted at the darkness growing within. He devoured crime novels and magazines, immersing himself in tales of brutality and bloodshed. As a young man, Bundy developed a taste for voyeurism, peering into the windows of strangers. This secretive behavior became a dark hobby, a way to exert control over unsuspecting victims. This unsettling behavior foreshadowed the violations to come, the transgression of boundaries that would mark his horrific crimes. Each act of voyeurism was a step closer to the unimaginable horrors he would later commit. His relationships with women were also troubled. Despite his charm, there was always an underlying tension, a sense that something was not quite right. A failed romance left him deeply wounded, fueling a simmering rage and a desire for control that would manifest in the most horrifying ways. The rejection he felt turned into a burning anger, a need to dominate and destroy. The seeds of a monster were sown, waiting for the right moment to bloom into their full, terrifying form. His intense gaze in the courtroom would later haunt those who witnessed his trial. The world would soon learn the name Ted Bundy, but not before it learned the face of fear. His arrest marked the beginning of a chilling saga that would captivate and horrify the nation. Ted Bundy was a chameleon, able to blend in and appear completely normal. His charm and charisma were disarming, making it difficult for anyone to suspect the darkness that lay beneath his seemingly perfect exterior. He was intelligent and articulate, even attending law school and volunteering for a suicide prevention hotline. His ability to present himself as a caring and responsible individual was a key part of his deceptive nature. This stark contrast between his public persona and his hidden depravity is perhaps the most chilling aspect of Bundy's story. To those who knew him, he was a friend, a student, and a volunteer, but to his victims, he was a nightmare. He was the embodiment of the all-American boy next door, yet beneath the surface lurked a predator of the worst kind. His ability to mask his true intentions allowed him to move through society undetected for years. This carefully constructed facade allowed him to gain the trust of his victims, lulling them into a false sense of security before he unleashed his brutality upon them. His victims never saw the danger coming until it was too late. He was cunning and manipulative, preying on their kindness and vulnerability. His ability to read people and exploit their weaknesses made him an exceptionally dangerous individual. Behind the mask of sanity, a monster was waiting to break free, driven by a darkness that would leave a trail of devastation across multiple states and countless shattered lives. His legacy is a haunting reminder of the evil that can hide behind the most ordinary of facades. The exact number of Ted Bundy's victims remains unknown, lost to the darkness of his crimes. However, the confirmed cases paint a horrifying picture of his brutality. Young women began to disappear, their families and friends left with unbearable grief and unanswered questions. The Pacific Northwest was gripped by fear, the shadow of a predator looming over everyday life. As the body count rose, so too did the urgency to find the perpetrator. Police were baffled by the seemingly random nature of the attacks and the lack of a clear motive. Little did they know that they were hunting a monster hiding in plain sight, a wolf in sheep's clothing who moved among them with ease and charm. Section 5. Modus operandi: luring innocents. Ted Bundy was a master manipulator. He often used ruses to gain the trust of his victims, exploiting their empathy and desire to help. Sometimes he would feign injury, his arm in a sling, asking for assistance carrying books or loading his car. Other times he would impersonate authority figures such as a police officer to gain their confidence and lure them into his grasp. His chosen victims often shared similar physical characteristics, reminding him of a past love turned sour. This obsession fueled his rage and his need to dominate and control. Once he had his victims alone and vulnerable, he would unleash his brutality, subjecting them to unimaginable horrors before ending their lives and disposing of their bodies with chilling detachment. Section 6: The Psychology of a Killer Delving into Darkness. What drove Ted Bundy to commit such horrific acts? This question has haunted both the public and experts for decades. Experts have spent years analyzing his case, attempting to unravel the complexities of his psyche. They have delved into every aspect of his life, from his childhood to his relationships, trying to piece together the puzzle of his mind. Some believe that his troubled childhood, marked by feelings of abandonment and a distorted sense of family, played a significant role in shaping his violent tendencies. His early years were fraught with instability and confusion, which may have planted the seeds of his later actions. Others point to his failed relationships and deep-seated insecurities as fuel for his rage and need for control. These personal failures may have exacerbated his already fragile sense of self, driving him to assert dominance in the most horrific ways. It's also theorized that Bundy enjoyed the power he held over his victims, the ultimate control over life and death. This sense of power was intoxicating for him, providing a twisted sense of fulfillment. His crimes went beyond simply taking a life. They were about domination, humiliation, and the satisfaction of his darkest desires. Each act was meticulously planned and executed, reflecting a mind consumed by a need for control and a lack of empathy. Whatever the root cause, Ted Bundy's case stands as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary individuals. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that evil can wear a familiar face hiding in plain sight. Section 7: Escape and Recapture, Terror Reignited. Even behind bars, Ted Bundy remained a dangerous predator. His cunning and ability to blend in were never more evident than in his two daring escapes from custody. In 1977, he escaped from a Colorado courthouse, evading authorities for 6 days before being recaptured. His escape sparked nationwide panic as the monster was once again on the loose. Months later, he escaped again, this time from a Colorado jail, exploiting a design flaw in his cell. This escape led to a final reign of terror in Florida, where he committed some of his most brutal murders. Bundy's ability to escape not once but twice solidified his image as a cunning and ruthless criminal, capable of anything to evade justice and continue his reign of terror. Section 8: The Chilling Confessions, Unmasking the Monster. Facing overwhelming evidence, including eyewitness accounts and physical evidence linking him to the crimes, Ted Bundy finally confessed to his horrific deeds. His confessions were chilling in their detail, revealing the true extent of his depravity and the calculated nature of his crimes. He spoke of his victims with a chilling detachment, describing his acts with a disturbing matter-of-factness. These confessions provided some closure for the families of his victims, giving them answers to questions that had haunted them for years. However, they also revealed the true depths of Bundy's depravity, confirming the existence of a monster among them. The man who once presented a charming facade to the world was finally unmasked, revealing the true face of evil. Section 9: Justice Served, The Price of Evil. In 1979, Ted Bundy was found guilty of multiple counts of murder and sentenced to death. The judge in his case, Edward Cowart, acknowledged Bundy's intelligence and charisma, but ultimately declared him a dangerous, evil individual. The news of his sentence was met with relief and a sense of justice served. The monster who had terrorized so many was finally being held accountable for his actions. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Bundy maintained a following of supporters who believed in his innocence. Even in the face of undeniable proof, they clung to the image of the charming, articulate man they thought they knew. However, the truth was undeniable. Ted Bundy was a monster, and the world was a safer place with him behind bars. Section 10: Legacy of Fear, Bundy's Enduring Grip. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. His death brought a sense of closure to a nation terrorized by his crimes. However, the legacy of his evil continues to haunt us to this day. Bundy's case had a profound impact on criminal profiling and forensic science. His crimes forced law enforcement to rethink their methods and recognize the dangers of psychopathic charm. The families and friends of his victims continue to live with the pain of their loss, forever scarred by his brutality. Their strength and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy stand as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Section 11. Conclusion: never forgotten. Ted Bundy remains one of the most infamous serial killers in history. His crimes shocked the nation and exposed the dark side of human nature. His story serves as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk beneath the surface of even the most charming and seemingly normal individuals. His legacy is a testament to the importance of vigilance, awareness, and the pursuit of justice for all victims of violence. Though he is gone, the echoes of his crimes continue to resonate, reminding us of the darkness that exists in the world and the importance of fighting against it. We must never forget the victims and the lessons learned from the chilling case of Ted Bundy.